Hey guys, so I'm gonna be going over how I place my orders, or like when I want to use like a different order. So I'm gonna be going over different situations when you want to use these. I went over each of these orders in the last video, and I thought that I should make another video going over when I use them because I feel like that would be helpful. This is gonna be a little shorter than last video, so yeah. So first order, so market order. Market obviously it executes at whatever price the stock market price is at, right? So if I do a market order, it just executes right away no matter what. There's no limit. It just executes and buys at whatever price you get filled at. And so when I like to use market order when a stock's a lot of momentum. So see how all this volume comes in. This is going up pretty fast. And if we look at the 1 minute, if you look at the 1 minute, like right here, look how fast this is going up. If you put a limit order right here and you see all this momentum and all this volume, ideally you want to put a market order here because you want to get filled right away because it has all this momentum. And if you put a limit, like say the price is at like 531 and you put a limit at 531, by the time you press the buy button for that limit order, it's already gonna be way above 531 and you're not gonna get filled. So for stocks with a ton of momentum and just like a giant green candle and giant green candles and giant volume, I generally use market orders. So that's when I use a market. And mostly I use market orders during the day because during the day there's a lot of volume. The stocks move pretty quickly. So that is when I use a market order. So limit order. I usually use limit order in pre-market or after hours. Because the stocks do move a little slower. So for example, if we look at after hours, this was like a little slower. See how this consolidates right here? It doesn't really move fast. It literally took like 10 minutes for this to move from this 704 to 718 range. So if the stock's like gonna go up and you want to get filled at a certain, like say you want to get filled at 710, if you put a limit at 710, you're probably gonna get filled because it's not really moving that fast and doesn't have a lot of momentum. So that's an example when I'd use a limit order when it's not really moving up. Market orders, remember market orders. Say if there's like a news play, you want to use a market order right away as soon as you're playing the news because it definitely can keep running, and if it doesn't, I usually get stopped out. But say it runs like $5 and you try to put a limit order as soon as you see the news, you're not going to get filled because by the time you're done putting the limit order, it's already going to be way up there. So market orders I like using for news plays are huge volume and huge or penny stocks that move a ton. And low flow. If you guys look at the flow, this flow is free flow 35 million, so that's pretty low. So this moves a lot. This moves really fast on high volume. So market order, hopefully you guys understand this. So market order, lots of volume, lots of momentum, and then limit order when the stock's moving a little slower. Another way you could use a market order, say you are in the middle of a day and a stock has a ton of momentum or a ton of news, and you do not care if you get filled or not, put a limit order like at a dip. So say the stocks are here at 615, and say you want to only get in if it dips. So you could literally just put a limit order for like 10 cents under and just wait. And if it ends up going down there and fills, great. But if it doesn't, which is why I don't like limit orders, if it doesn't, then you're going to miss your chance. You're not going to get filled and it's go right back up and it's never going to hit your limit order. But if you want to play safer and less riskier, I would recommend using limit orders for like if you want to get in on a dip because sometimes these dips are really fast. So if we look at like, I think MetX had a nice pullback today. So if we look at MetX, let's see. So these red candles go down pretty fast. If you look at the 5 minute, so see this giant red candle, people will have limit orders sitting at this 0.48, 0.58. And usually if you, try to do a limit order when it comes down here, like initially you will not get filled because it literally just pops right back up. So if you have a limit order like a dip, sometimes it will hit your limit order then just bounce right back up very, very quickly, and it's very hard to do that if you're doing market orders. So that's another example when you might want to use a limit order if you want to get filled on a dip. And if you don't get filled, just cancel your order because you don't chase. I don't chase tops. I usually like to get in dips, or I like to get in on good breakouts. So that is when I use a limit order. A stop order. So I do use stop orders. I never use stop limit orders. By the way, you guys can't set stop losses in Webull and pre-market, which is unfortunate. So I usually keep mental stops, and I'm always watching pre-market. So remember that you can't set stop losses in Webull pre-market. But so stops, I always use a stop. I never use a stop limit, and the reason being is because if a stock knifes, so say like I'm in MedX and say it flushes like this, and my stop's right here. If I have a stop at 0.55, as soon as this number gets to 0.55, I'm going to be filled at whatever the last price sold or bought was. So, or I'm going to be filled at the ask price, and it's going to sell right away. If I put a limit and it like just shoots down like too fast and skips my limit order, then I'm not going to be filled, or I'll be filled at a way lower price, and I'll like sell for a worse loss than I already have. So I always use market orders, or stop orders, which is a market order sell. I think that's the best in my opinion. And again, you can't use stop losses in Webull pre-market and after hours. So I just use the stop orders in during the day. So yeah, and trailing stop. So say I'll go to Lucid. I like using trailing stocks when a stock has a lot of momentum. And if we look at Lucid, we saw this huge run. This would have been a good time to put a trailing stop. Like say you're playing in options or shares, and say you bought in at 30, right? And you put a trailing stop of, let's say, like $2 or something. So if you bought at 30, I would put it, and you were, so I don't put a trailing stop right when you buy. You want to wait until you're green to put the trailing stop. So say you bought in at 30, you bought in right here or around here. It doesn't really matter. So say you bought it around here at 30, and then it goes up to 31.13, and then it dips back down to 30 again. You don't sell because you're still green, and starts going back up. And as soon as you're green, like say you're $32, and you want to put a trailing stop, and it depends on like how risky you are. But if it was this, I'd probably put a trailing stop like 50 cents. So you would have been stopped out here. But say you want to make your trailing stop a little bigger. Say you want to make it like $4 because you're just super green, and no matter what, you're gonna be green. So you buy at 30, that's your average price, and it goes to 32, and your trailing stop's at $4. So as soon as it reaches 32, your stop loss is 28, and then it goes up, reaches 34. Now your stop loss is 32, and then it dips back down to 32.35, but your stop loss is still 32, so it won't get hit, and then it bounces back up, and makes a new high. So now it goes to 34.50. So now your trailing stop is at 32.50. It's always $2 under whatever the price is at. And then it goes back down. Your stop loss is still 32.50, but it doesn't hit it, and then it keeps going up. See how you're never going to lose? Like, it's never going to stop you out, and you're going to just keep going up and up and up, and your trailing stop, you're never going to get stopped out. So I like trailing stops with stocks with a lot of momentum. That's where I use them, and I like them options a lot. And for options, I usually put my trailing stop like 0.05 to 0.10, depending on how much I'm up. But that's your choice. And yeah, that is when I use all the different market orders. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Reply in the comments, or follow or DM me on Twitter. Don't forget to use my Webull refer code. Like and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Don't miss another video. This is a very good series for new traders, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a good night, guys.